Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another day of Delenn Russell. We are starting out in the match that I've been taking down, and that's the plan to continue doing so today. But I'm actually a little bit lower on tools and food and supplies than I would like, so we're going to take a run back to base, grab a few more pieces, maybe trade up villagers a little bit for a couple of axes and maybe a pick or two, and then come back. That's where we're starting from today. If there's anything questions anyone has with regards to stuff they're seeing on the stream, or if there's volumes too loud or things not making sounds or whatever, please do let me know. I am being totally upfront this morning that I am dragging because my, well, it's going to sound weird, but my arm hurts. And a bunch of the rest of me hurts too. Long story short, basically is just, while other people are experiencing far, far worse, I went and got my, a COVID booster, or not a COVID booster, a Pfizer booster against COVID yesterday. And it's making me definitely feel a little bit off this morning. Not actually sick per se, but a lot of the draggy symptoms and extra cold and all that jazz that often comes with crazy things like this. But yeah, but that's where we're headed today, and hopefully we can have some fun while we do it. And if it turns out that you think some of the stuff sounds that should be dropping below my voice are not doing so, also please point that out as well, because I can adjust that. Had a couple of flaky behaviors lately with some of the sound filtering that I've got going. I can get back up here. Ah, there we go. Just in case something goes sideways.
Hello.
Hello. All right, now you guys are seeing a very white and kind of washed out. Oops, this is not a great scene. You guys are seeing a white and rather washed out chat. Let me just really quickly take care of that for you. So if I can Twitch chat, just interact with that. Basically, for some reason, my Twitch chat insists on being in light mode, in spite of the fact that I've told it to be in dark mode. It just does not want to listen, so that messed with the transparency. That should look a little bit better for everybody. So, and it thinks I still have these. There we go. There's a setting screen. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's get this crazy show on the road. Pulling out of the way. There. Hello, horsey. I would like to ride you, please. Go. Where am I going? Oh, I have everything on except home. Okay. Well, let's try closing that. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, let's just go in the southwesterly direction. See where we end up. If I head east, I'll get to it. And let's get this to start. You try to hit control and you hit shift. One of those mornings. Morning, Neon! You can hear that the hello worked correctly. Turns out somehow I have misplaced the other options for greetings, but that's okay because we will figure out the easiest way to do it is just simply use the same one over and over. Works pretty well. Render person. Red Flag Day. What does a red flag day mean? Is it just simply a fire ban, or is there something else going on when that's the case? I'm not familiar with Red Flag Day or anything of the nature. I don't know what a Red Flag Day is. I mean, I guess it's probably somewhat similar to our fire ban, I suppose. I wins. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I wins stink. I don't like them. Right. I'm just going to grab some stuff and then come right back out of the outside. Go the correct direction, that might help. I know you're mad because I don't have my hat on. Leave me alone. I leave you alone. Oh, it's gonna be one of those days, is it? Sorry, can't ask for it. Aha. So I had originally intended to make our to grab more carts and not carts, sorry, more packages and supplies and stuff before I logged on today. But unfortunately, it just transpired that, of course, feeling a little rough was surprising me a bit more than I had planned on. Because the last time I had this particular booster, it didn't cause any issues whatsoever, and yet it really took down Fantastic Sherlock Fox a lot. This time around, he seems to be, we were in about as good a shape as each other, so I mean, it wasn't a huge difference. Yeah, I'm a little more surprised at my dragginess than I thought I would be. My screen previously decided that to freeze up and go into loading mode on me just at the same time we hit a part of the song that was repetitive. That doesn't help anybody. Ready. So, first things first. No, it's just that in Canada I dragged my feet and didn't get shot number 3. And pretty soon there'll be shot number 4, I suspect. It's just not the way they're working. Okay. Oh, right, I wanted the yellow box. Do I have any? Yep. More emeralds than you can shake that, so that... So yeah, but that's really all it is. Take a few, actually.
Hello.
Good morning, Zerk. How are you doing today? You can say hello, which is... It's loud, so if it's problematic, please do let me know. Oh, oops. That's not quite what I wanted. No, oh, not that much. Okay. Go with... I'll take all, and let's do, like... Maybe... that. Okay, that should get me some extras. I can handle that. Alrighty. What I'm looking for here is just going to be... I was going to do a bit of repairing, but actually that's kind of silly, because... What do you have? Cool axe? No, you're not the one with the cool axe. The one with the cool axe? No, you're not the one with the cool axe. Be you then. Not sufficient to do. 1. Oh, weapons guys, right. Hang on a sec. You have... That's the one. 2 of those will work. Who's got the cool? Pick. 2. I'm really glad to hear that, Neon. Or not Neon, sorry, Rick, you can actually be having a good day for me too, then. Okay, we've got 1 efficiency 2, 1 efficiency 3, and 2 new axes. That ought to do the trick. Should be enough to keep us busy for a while. And then I should only need to use these ones when I absolutely have to. That song was triggered when listening to stream. Yeah, something Zerk said. I can't remember what exactly it was, but something Zerk said triggered a song in my head too. Why? Oh, I know what else I wanted. He's back. minimize space. What else did I talk about getting for today? While I'm here, I can put some junk away. I have time to organize everything. No, Arch would bug me about the sushis. Let's see. Go in. That's fun. What else? Wood. More space. No, not that. Come on. Doesn't make sense. Thought I had more. Workers are not in shelter. Well, when all else fails, gotta make some more. Probably using a lot more than I go. That'll work. So what I needed extra that I don't have with me yet is I'm going to get rid of these stupid melons because there's a big royal pain. And then I'm going to take the beacon with me because that'll help a little bit. Right. I was thinking, yeah, I've got a lot more work to do if I want to actually make my way through most of that mansion, and I promised you guys I wouldn't do it any longer than the rest of this week, so whether I do one stream today, or a second one this evening, is still up in the air, but doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to stop on the mansion, but it just means that I'm not going to necessarily be doing all of it on stream. Good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Hopefully your meetings aren't drowning you too much this morning. So yeah, I was thinking about it yesterday, and I mentioned in the late stream that I probably would just take my beacon with me. That would make a totally large amount of sense. Take my beacon with me, and that way I can speed things up a little bit at the other end, or add resistance, or whatever would be useful while I'm out there. Because if you've got one, you should use it. Besides, it's got a super cool name. So, yeah. For those who haven't seen the name, because I've done it every stream since I got it, even though I'm super excited about it. Off this top row. Maybe not. So the name that they named the shulker that it belongs in, and it's Dell's 221B Beacon Street. I thought that was super cute. I have a suspicion that it probably goes with the Poirot pickaxe. I know who that's from for sure, even though the beacon didn't have a label. So thank you to the Zerk crew once again. And also thank you for surprising me one of these days when it wasn't on stream. I mean, there's possibility it could have been Brian as well. He's the only one I know that's been making wither noises while I've been on like logged onto the server. But yeah, wherever it came from, I am very appreciative and I intend to use it. Kind of funny. In a way, I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of hole in the ground is left after the mansion is gone. Only because I've never actually been taken down before. I mean, not even in creative. That's something I could have done, but never really did. Because of course, when you're invincible in creative, it doesn't necessarily have the same draw. to make changes to it as it would well, I find this sort of manual effort somewhat satisfying. So a little bit this morning, I did return to one of the things I've done in the past on the stream and just checking out some of the more, I guess, the random good news stories that are possibly available around. Some of them they're challenging to discuss, like paradox posed by famous physicist Stephen Hawking, who unfortunately has passed. He was an amazing guy. Anyway, one of his black hole related paradoxes has finally actually been solved. It's not really a paradox after all, but through a new way of looking at the math, scientists are able to show that there is a solution by... Basically, the long story short was, in the 1960s, somebody had, one of the scientists had proposed, or not proposed, tossed out the idea that black holes, of course, they collapse and they don't have any history to them, or you can't, they're saying you couldn't look at the history of a black hole to see what created it. Scientists proved that wasn't the case. But Stephen Hawking's version said that when a black hole disappeared, collapsed in on itself and was gone, that it lost any possibility of looking at the history of what the black hole had been. It destroys that, which doesn't make sense because that goes against one of the earlier, I guess, tenets of physics, maybe. And the long story on that one was, made short on that was just simply to say that the theory basically states that anything that goes one direction in physics can be reversed by the math part of it, so it can be proven in backwards by the math. And they said black holes didn't fit that because they erased all records of what created them, then you couldn't do that. But actually scientists have now shown that that is possible. So that's one of those ones that's as far as I'm going to go with it on stream, because I'm not a physicist, nor a proper scientist of any sort, so I wouldn't be able to explain that. Beyond that, in our house, we are very, growing up, we were very good at being able to explain a conversation on scientific topics where the concepts make sense. Like, it's sort of the logic is there to say, yeah, that should work. But being able to do the math was completely beyond me. I never actually managed to complete intro calculus at university. So, yeah, that's where a lot of this ended. I recognize the need for it, and that it's not practical in most people's lives, hence it just doesn't stick with me. The theoretical math also didn't work either. If it's not practical and I can't sort of conceptually see it, hold it, touch it, use it, etc., then I'm not going to find it useful. And I have trouble learning it. Just really want those eggs bugging me again. Okay, so, but there was another cool one. Oh, shoot. For a kid, it was like, no, not a kid, a bunch of kids, the teacher got their class in partnership with a local pet shelter. And they decided their persuasive writing project for 8-year-olds-ish, in grade 2s, so 8 to 9, it's grade 3. In any case, teacher got them in partnership with a local shelter, and they wrote persuasive letters to the anonymous public people to action challenge, okay, to the anonymous public to try and convince them to adopt pets that needed adoption, which is sort of a strange project, but apparently, what I understand, it actually worked fairly well, and surprised the shelter because it had them emptied out in under 2 weeks. So I thought that was kind of a cool project. I don't know if that would work in my city, but if it did, it might be a cool project for one of my kids to look at, maybe as part of like a project for their capstone of their cub years. And that's not a guarantee, but a possibility. One of the things that's still a challenge up here is twofold. First off, that a lot of volunteering opportunities up here are not open to youth under 14. So that doesn't work too well for us, as you can imagine. Second challenge to that is that, of course, with COVID restrictions, even less opportunities available that would normally be in person for volunteer hours and stuff. A project like this, something might be able to be tracked or whatever, so that you could actually potentially get the volunteer hours while helping out. I need to hydrate for a second. Go, alrighty. Get back at it. If I could figure my way off this tree without actually falling on my face. Oh. Here we are. So, the reason I fell off that block there was actually a bit of silly Delenn, but a bit of puffy leaves with the texture pack and stuff make it a little bit challenging for me to see where all the blocks end in edges. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oops. Wrong screen. Okay. There we go. Water bottle can work. So yeah, we've one of the other items that my husband told me about, and I don't think I mentioned on stream, but I thought was pretty cool, is just about everybody and their dog is familiar with Mackenzie Bezos, who was formerly the wife of Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame. And one of the things that she had done, and Francis Sherlock Fox can help fill in the details if he's not busy, but in any case, when she divorced from Jeff, he had a huge portion of settlement. Like, I mean, large chunk of the company. So she started a great giving campaign, and even hired staff to help vet the group she gives to. Some of them are large groups, and some of them are small groups and stuff. But usually it's like a one-off donation, so it's not like she starts a regular scheduled subscription donation. Sort of once a group's been donated to, thus far at least, there's no repeats. But anyway, she was apparently trying to get hold of a representative from Habitat for Humanity for quite some time, who kind of like, yeah, this isn't real, it's got to be a scam, there's no way I'm going to return the voice messages if these people are leaving me. Oh, right, thank you, Zerk. That's a really good point. So she said there's no way that these people are, doing the real thing. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. So they didn't return the calls, and eventually, finally, somebody managed to get hold of them and sort of said, dude, you're missing out an opportunity here. This is the real deal. Like, apparently Mackenzie managed to get hold of them and said, no, I would like to donate you some money. So how do we make this happen? And they went, oh, turns out she sent them, according to the article I was reading this morning, $436 million. Now, for a charity like Habitat for Humanity, who builds houses for people who, are basically, they've got a job and stuff, but they cannot afford a mortgage, they cannot afford the bills or the insurance or any other costs associated with owning a home. The organization, one of the deals that people have to be a part of is that they have to actually put in a good amount of their own labor in helping build the house, whatever their skill may be. Like, I mean, sometimes they don't even know how to lift a hammer. Oh, you go. Okay, thank you. You too. Go away. Thank you. Okay. Goes in too. So in any case, so that's a little bit about how that charity works in a nutshell. And Mackenzie gave them a really good sized boost
Hello.
to their bottom line. Good morning, Dub Dynamite. As I understand it, there were at least 5 that have not been claimed so far. I think I'm the only one that I was aware of thus far, anyways, who had actually claimed one of these to start shredding it up. So yeah, I keep meaning to put it in the Discord channel for the server. Yeah, I claimed this one. Just it's one of those things. We'll put it on that list. It's on the list of things. off the top of my beam how big the base of these has to be. I just know it has to use all of it. I should have counted when I chopped it down. Does anyone who uses beacons on a regular basis remember how big the base part needs to be at the bottom? Because this one's a fully powered beacon. Ah ha ha ha. Ah. Oh. Zerk, if she's smart about it, the horse shrine will be the first thing to go. So yeah, we filling in the info on that one. Yeah, filling in the info on that one. We had a mistake that actually I was involved in, so that's why I'm feeling I should tell the story. Is I was trying to put a lead on the horse that I had been riding. I hopped off, and I guess somebody was being kind or whatever, but anyways, they managed to get a lead onto it before I did, and I didn't see that. So of course I'm right-clicking, and it occurred to me, well, what if I'm just doing this wrong? And I left-click, smacked it once, and it tried to run into the portal. So I think Ross was trying to encourage it back out by not actually like hitting it, but do something else. Unfortunately, somehow it looked like she beat the thing up and killed it. I don't know if that was all of the story, or if there's more to it than that, but I know I started it. So anyways, we made a shrine to the horse. Yeah, it really did look like she was punching it. It was really quite amusing. I don't think she was trying to at all, but poor gal. Anyway, so does anybody in chat remember how big the base of the beacon needs to be if you're gonna do it full size? How many by how many? Perfect, 9 by 9. Okay, I can handle that. Yeah, this 7 by 7, etc. I know what it is as you go up, like as in always one less than each side, so whatever -2, etc., etc. I just didn't remember how big the base needed to be. Seven, and then I can take out a wall. Perfect. Seven, 9, 6, and then one reset. And then should be 7 going this way to fill it in. So this is a stupid idea without putting torches farther up. So yeah, that's where the horse thing is. And I didn't even see that you had already pre-tethered the horse I'd been riding. So I hopped off and went to do it and was like, am I dumb here? Am I missing something? So I tried to go it the other way, and yeah, not so much. Okay, so do this layer, and then I'll rip out the walls to get the next part. I know I skipped 2 ends, 2 side rows here. Really, I only need 1 block, but I like giving it a bit of a walking space. But I think 1 block will have to do in this case. I mean, come on, where's the fun if you can't get a baby zombie climbing on your beacon, right? Not iron block. I'm amused that the song I'm listening to has the lyric, "Rescue me." I'm like, yeah, that's me from being silly sometimes. So yeah, that's the story of the horse, or part of the story of the horse. The other portion of it had to do with the fact that somebody put up a sign and laid flowers, and you know, it was quite amusing actually. I wouldn't have done it on purpose, but because the situation had occurred, it was kind of funny to see what everybody did about it next, and we all stood there and looked at our feet, so we were bowing our heads, and yeah, we had a bit of a good time with that one. Oops, no, there. Yes, we all were putting flowers around. On the other hand, I kind of vaguely wonder if it was partly just because somebody's like, "Oh, hey, good way to get rid of my flower." Because it was just amusing. Poor Ross. I mean, she had a challenge that made her need to log out not too long after that, so I don't think it was because of that situation, but yeah. But I didn't! I tried so hard, and I know. Yeah. But yeah, raiding the mansions first time around was a lark. I had a huge ton of fun. I'll be honest, I think I enjoyed Saturday a little bit more than Sunday, but that was not for any lack of trying on the part of the organizers. I think that it was just that the Murphy's Law, when we actually got in there, some of the Sunday mansions, for some reason I became a little more directionally challenged than usual, which is not saying much. And somehow, part of it just seemed easier. I think it's because I did it on Saturday, I don't know. But yeah, it was an absolute blast. It was totally fun. Oh, fiddle. Did I do what I just think I did? Oh, face palm. Okay, well, let's get the Smarties box from upstairs. Goodies box. Backside room, that's not the front. Front. It's good time to go sleep anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to our next set of adventures, but it seems like April has just gone haywire, so I don't know if I'll be able to be involved depending on when people do things. So yeah. Cub Camp this weekend has got... I'm up here for goodies. Cub Camp this weekend has got everything in disarray for me. I was supposed to be finding a sleeping bag for my daughter, and... Oh... That was an audible facepalm. Okay, what have I got in here? Oh, nothing that's gonna help me there. Dagnabbit. Beacons and all, here we go again. See how quickly we can get this over with on stream. On your way? You're closer than I am? Well, in the meantime, I'm just gonna take some stuff down. I bet you saw that coming. I really do. First off, let's put the right hat on. I don't think the right hat's gonna help much. Other than kicking the pants. I always forget about that bit because I don't... Due to having an iron farm, it's sort of I can always get more. I didn't view iron, any longer at least, as a super precious resource, so I didn't put any in the ender chest, and I haven't used the beacon myself that often. I used to carry iron, and that was because Brian has told me that from time to time there appear to be a couple of flaws in the way the redstone works for the cart system in the nether, which just results in you don't always get mine carts fed into the dispenser properly. And so the result of that is that there weren't always minecarts there when I needed one, so I just, for a while, was taking to carrying my own iron. If there wasn't a cart there, I would just make one. Pretty simple. But then once he seemed to have more or less got it fixed, I just got lazy and stopped carrying the iron around because, hey, one less slot for a stack of iron or something meant one more shulker box, or one more slot in a shulker box. So there was the logic there that was, in the end, somewhat flawed. Pardon me. So anyway, you can see the result. It's funny. In real life, I often get lauded as a scout leader for being excessively prepared for things. As in, like, what parent on the playground usually carries a first aid kit with them? most don't. I mean, they may have a couple of band-aids and a couple of wipes or something, but most of them don't carry a full-on first aid kit to the school playground. But that, for years, was me. You know? Can't remember what odd thing it was people would ask for, but it did seem to be that whatever the odd thing was that people were looking for, I'd have it. And then the last couple of months, I've noted that that's actually falling apart as well. It's just because I switched up my daily carry bag so much that I don't ever seem to have all of what I need. Oh, I'm coming back up. Give me a second. I was like, what? I've been end raiding once. Well, okay, that's not quite true. I've been to the end once. Thank you very, very much, Zerk. I see the beacon beam. Ow.
Hello.
Thank you very, very much. Hello, Tis for Truth. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. It's probably a backpacker thing, I guess. But yeah, I always have one with me. But it's also funny because you'd think, you know, women say bag of holding, right? We carry our bag of holding. We used to have all kinds of crazy stuff. And so my bag of holding actually used to have all sorts of things. But just in the last little while, I've not been carrying it with me, so I'm less prepared than I used to be. And it's a bit of a shame on me thing. Yeah. I think it's just with the backpacking thing and so on that I'm just trading bags back and forth so frequently that I tend to leave things in the opposite bag from what I wanted. Yeah. It's always in, kind of like when people joke about, oh yeah, it's in my other pants. Well, yeah, for me it's in the other backpack. But unfortunately, after I get back from camp, one of the things I'm going to have to look for is a new daily carry bag in lieu of a purse kind of thing, because, I mean, the main bag works fine, except that I've broken the zipper on it. It's not just pulled off the zipper pull, but actually broke the part that would hold the zipper pull on. And then I was just dealing with that. That's, you know, inconvenient, but it works, so you can pull on it with your fingers. But then the new development is yesterday I went to put my coffee cup in the little plastic and mesh coffee cup holder on the side of it, or water bottle holder or whatever. And unfortunately, the coffee cup immediately slid straight to the floor. Thankfully it was closed, because I've had that mistake before too. But yeah, so that part needs to be, if I'm going to use the same backpack in the interim, I'm just going to need to cut that section right off. It's not really repairable. I mean, I've got a Yeti-sized mug, so there's no way that simply... I'm not a fisherman, so I'm not actually, you know, versed in repairing net-shaped things. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I had a lovely Hogwarts-themed backpack that I was using for a while that I quite liked. Unfortunately, just the way I carry it, I guess, had the stitching come loose on one of the straps, so nothing tore, other than the fiber for the thread itself. That's one that I could get repaired, but I have to put effort in, and if I'm going to do that, I think what I'll probably do is repair it with fishing line instead of actual thread. It's just a cheap plasticized leatherette thing, but I liked it because of the intellectual property involved. Yeah, next! Yeah, we're good at this whole EDC destruction thing, at least I am. I used to have a little cloth one. I can't even find it anymore. I thought it was in the closet, but I can't seem to find it. That was a little Mickey Mouse themed backpack. It was like cheap cotton faux denim thing, and it was just a little backpack, and it just became too small for what I was carrying in it at the time. But I think that one actually may have gone the way of the dodo, because I remember the full life of a shoulder bag with a Disney theme to it that was in between, and I don't think I would have gone with the same IP back to back like that unless I'd ruined the first one. So yeah, I'm hard on backpacks and bags. I throw them anywhere. So yeah. That's one of those lower priority items because I have a hydration pack, like it can hold a water bladder and stuff. That actually makes a half decent everyday backpack. I used it for that for a while, in addition to like using it for a hiking bag. And I just thought, okay, well, everything fits and it's all good. But the problem with that, though, is if you just need your wallet and keys or something, it was not super conducive being used that way. And then found a couple workarounds that they do the job, but they're not ideal in terms of how to use that other backpack. Yeah. That's the problem with being a semi-outdoor person, or more accurately, an outdoors wannabe, who does some stuff occasionally, is that I'm more hard on my day-to-day bags than I suspect most ladies usually are, but not necessarily needing to spend the great big bucks for the indestructible models because I don't use them that much. It's actually kind of funny because I keep thinking, or not keep thinking, keep looking at various companies that have either guarantees on their equipment or sales companies that have guarantees and repairs on any product they sell. That's why in Canada I look at Mountain Equipment Co-op, for example. It's sort of like the REI in the US. And the reason for that is they have what's called a rock-solid guarantee. Even though they've changed ownership in the last few years and have modified the rock-solid guarantee in the ways that I try to destroy things, those would still be covered. Because literally it's things like a zipper replacement or a hole repair or something like that. And you can, and even if they end up having to charge you for it, the repair cost is usually pretty nominal. We used to have a great company that sold all the parts for being able to repair those sorts of things yourself. They called it Textile Outfitters, but unfortunately they've disappeared. They got bought by another company originally, like a local outdoor gear company. And we're inside their shop for a while, but it was a horrible, horrible way of doing things, like in the way they laid it out. The local gear company basically more or less made it clear that they didn't particularly care this textile company existed. So they didn't give them proper shelf space, they didn't give them a proper work table. Like, it's sad when your local craft shop does a better job at looking like a fabric shop than the one that's supposed to be selling outdoor equipment for heavier duty purposes. Anyway, I think I'm also a little bit biased because I'm just picky by nature in that respect, but also my mother-in-law is a trained, not by career, but by training is a trained seamstress. And so some of it I think has rubbed off on me. Well, some designs are naturally weak. I mean, that's where it comes to, did I spend money on things for the intellectual property logos and stuff, rather than being sensible about the whole thing and spending it on things I should have, such as better quality, better durability of fabrics. So I think my next pack, I've got oh, I get it. Need to? No. Okay, fine. That works. That'll get me through things. So yeah, so I think on my next pack, I've been gifted a bunch of patches that I've actually never used. That they're just like a Harry Potter theme, and I can put them on things. I think I'll probably do that with the next one, is either put them right on the bag or something like that, just so that I don't really get as likely to be suckered into ooh, it's pretty and it's got the logo on it. Yeah. I'm kind of one of those people. Not everything. I mean, I don't have everything Harry Potter, but I've got a lot of them. I mean, Fantastic Sherlock Fox has, unfortunately, for him at least, helped me in that pursuit. I posted a while back a picture of a couple of t-shirts he picked up to help celebrate my first stream weekend on, actually it was on this server. And, so, I mean, they're fantastic t-shirts and I will wear them until they fall apart. but anybody who's ever bought a t-shirt that's been sold at Walmart can generally agree that their specialty is not durability of clothing, because to some extent, why would they? If you're going to buy it and then wear it out and need to replace it, of course they want you to come and buy the replacement from them as well, just like you did with the original. The other thing is they're going to be great shirts when it comes to be summertime, because the lightweight, less durable fabric is actually also less hot to wear. But yeah. I don't know if I'll be crying all around. I haven't got a feel for what this year's summer is going to be like. The other thing I can never seem to decide is whether I want teardrop shaped bag with like one of those single shoulder things, or like the crossbody style, or whether I want to go the full on backpack. I keep thinking I should probably go full on backpack because it's the mode I wear my bags most commonly in, even though I do the bad one shoulder thing. But it's just that I'm one of those people who is, or women I guess, who's hefty enough that if you try to wear a crossbody bag, then like a, you know, where it goes down across your back and then equally across the front, like sash-like, it... Try the right axis time. But if I'm wearing a crossbody bag, it just doesn't stay across my chest the way it's most comfortable and frankly looks the best. So rather than having it look like it's going to slide up my chest and choke me or something, I just opt not to wear it in that format. But by having one that's either convertible or looking for just a little mini backpack, you seriously reduce your options. So that's part of why I've been looking around in the past at, like, you know, a hydration pack just without the bladder in it and stuff like that, because those are usually fairly slimline. They're definitely hard to find these days. I mean, well, speaking of hard to find, Fantastic Sherlock Fox can probably back me on this one. So one of the reasons I started mentioning I was supposed to be looking for a sleeping bag for my daughter, one of the reasons that she's just going to have to fuck up and deal with what we already have in storage is that she's in that little window we talked about Cub Scouts where getting to be too tall for her youth sleeping bag that she's got now. It's not at the sort of critical point yet, but she unfortunately is now camping out in weather that youth bags and stuff are just not made for. Not every sleeping bag is only designed for sleepovers, but we're camping out this weekend. I mean, it's April. If you know anything about April in Canada, actually, if you know anything about Canadian weather in general, you can go camping 7 or 8 times throughout various times of the year and be guaranteed to get snow on absolutely every single one of them. So therefore, you need to have a bag that's more or less, let's say, 3 seasons elsewhere. That actually becomes a summer bag, Canadians. Unless you tend to sleep warm, which my daughter does not. That's why, frankly, but anyway. So the result of that is that we need a new bag with a warmer temperature rating, or like a good till farther down. But buying one of those, like, it's not even a seasonal storage thing. Like, some of the companies who did do the seasonal storage thing are having their winter bags listed as out of stock. But more specifically, that youth bags just don't come in winter temperatures. The closest I've seen so far, I think, was their emergency protection level, so like the lowest rating, not the comfort rating. In Celsius is about -7, or their comfort rating is like 2 degrees above 0, which is 2 degrees above freezing. Okay, so in a Fahrenheit sense, that's we're looking at like basically a lot of them comfort rating. The lowest you're ever going to see is like a 30-degree bag at best, and that's not useful for what we're looking for. I mean, usually things get colder overnight than they're supposed to here. Just that's the way Murphy's Law seems to work the last couple of years. So when we're seeing like a predicted overnight low of about -6, I can just about guarantee you it's going to be at least 8 or 10, or it's going to be like -6 with a wind chill factor that doesn't get counted in that 6. You know? So the other thing is, because she's a growing kid, even if a youth bag did go that low, they still want like $300 for it. To 280 or something like that. And that's great, but if your kid's growing, what parent wants to pay that kind of money? And then maybe if you're lucky they'll use it for 2 years, but if they hit a growth spurt, definitely no go on those 2 years. Right? So that's the other side of it. So we're looking at things like women's bags and stuff like that, but in time for this weekend is just a little bit too short a notice. I should have thought about it earlier because I'd known about the camp for maybe about a month as a leader. But I feel sorry for parents who didn't know about it that soon. Right? Yeah, so we're going to try again for next month, and by the time you hit July, then I mean, a -7 bag as an adult might not be too bad. The other thing we're looking at in terms of longer life for her to use the sleeping bag would be looking at the weight, because even though I prefer to car camp when I'm doing tent related stuff, or at least low walk-in distances, she's like, both my kids are part of scouting, which means that by the time they get to the scout level, so we're talking, she's nearly, well, she'll be 9 this summer, but scouts start at 11 at the next scout level, so that means that it'll be 2 years at best. I mean, my son's going to need a new bag, I think. He might be able to get it with the one he's got, but they'll probably need a new bag, because I don't know about you, but if you have the option of a lighter bag, then why would you take a bag that's like 5.5 pounds packed? If you can find one, outrageous pricing, but find one that'll fit you, give you the protection you need for like 3 pounds. And that may mean the difference between you complaining over a 10k hike in versus complaining over like a 12k hike. I mean, 9 to 10k sucks anyways. I probably complain about that far. Most of like the ones that I did as a kid were like 2k walk-ins. So you would drive to the provincial parks parking lot, and then it's like maximum a kilometer to get from the parking lot to where you're actually camping, which is not that bad, because then even if you had mucky gray water to get rid of, so you know, your dishwater or something like that, then it's not that bad to take it to the official dump station. But yeah, not if it's, I mean, we're talking like scouting is doing this sort of thing where you're talking backpacking your own food, carrying your own stove, bear barrels, and the whole 9 yards. Or bear-proof barrels, I guess, and the whole 9 yards. So then you want to make sure that you've got lightweight gear, particularly if you're a smaller frame individual. And that's actually one of the other drawbacks, I guess, of that. Well, exactly. It also does mean that, I mean, particularly if you're not a very warm individual, the more you can pack in your pack for layers, the warmer you're going to be. So having space for that means it's layers you can wear all day long rather than just when you're sleeping. Funny, we look at ultralight videos every once in a while for something to watch in the evening, and sometimes I see them and I just want to laugh, because I know that's not going to be the reality at our house. I mean, we're not wusses by any means. I mean, I'm incredibly out of shape, both in practice and in I have a so therefore it's definitely going to be a bit of a loss for no matter what you do. As in, my gear is a little bit heavier than need be, etc. But I need to practice more on that part. Anyways, this weekend's camp is not a hike-in. It's a drive-in one. It's just that I don't really like the idea of spending again in the fall when my son goes to scouts, and then having to rinse and repeat for the whole 9 yards when my daughter moves up. Sometimes a bear bag to hang high in a tree, but actually, and what's more in vogue up here, bear hangs are very hit and miss. More miss than hit in a lot of the cases. And so what's becoming more of the thing you find in Canada is you actually find a chain link fence lockup at your site if you're going to like a pre-built backcountry campsite. You'll find more of a chain link fence lockup for you to put your bear-proof barrel in. So like you'll actually have something that looks kind of like a beer keg, or one of the Bubba beer keg sizes, so the smaller ones. And you put all your food inside that, and then you just leave it with your labeled name on it or whatever inside the chain link fence. And supposedly that keeps bears off of it, but it's just one of those things that helps. Also being, it isolates the smell a little bit better than some of the bear hang bags do, and you actually have to take less equipment with you in terms of like ropes and counterweights and stuff like that. Like some people, a horrible time throwing it up in the tree, so they end up needing to counterweight something, and then whatever they threw up in the tree as their counterweight never comes back. So yeah, so the more or the less space your sleeping bag takes up, the more space you've got to actually put your clothes in and around your food barrel. When they're doing drive-in camps, our scouts cook in their patrol group, so about 6 youth max, I think 6, sometimes 8. But that's how much they usually work together for. But if you're going on a backpack, it's every man for himself. Girl, person, no. But yeah, it's everybody for themselves, and that allows them to have choice on their menus and stuff. Because actual backpacking food, it's not something you want to eat. One thing, if you know, you can just wait till another meal because the menu says the cook's going to make something cool next time. No, when you're out backpacking in it, and you have to rely on whether or not your friends will burn your meal, and it suddenly becomes rather inedible, and you don't have alternatives, then we just opted to have everybody do their own thing in that respect. Yeah, well, actually, it's, some of them, up here at least, some of the more popular backcountry campgrounds, if they do have a bear hang format, what they have had in the past is actually, sometimes we call them, or we jokingly call them the flagpole trees. And rather literally, it's either a flagpole tree, like a sort of an individual flagpole with a bunch of like little T-shaped stuff looking kind of like an antenna, in terms of how many hangs there is off of it, the top, or we'll actually have it be more, often you'll also find like a small flagpole forest, so it's basically just flagpoles to run your food up, and then they're spread out enough that they figure a bear wouldn't be able to use one as a way of getting up to another. Those are for the established campgrounds. There are places you can go backcountry, but particularly in the more popular zones, it became harder to get permits to be able to do it. And then, of course, then there's all just the scouting regs through a monkey wrench and the whole thing. But yeah, anyway, suffice to say, so I can sort of see why, at least in some countries, membership and successful recruitment in the scouting program is really lagging, and that's, I would say, largely because things are so expensive these days, whether it be shipping costs or supply shortages or whatever it is that's causing it to be like that. I'm not fully certain, but Fantastic Fox and I were talking about it last night, and we couldn't see a reason that people would want to pay those kinds of big dollar numbers for their kids if they're seeing no return on it. The other thing is that we had really strange requirements, like kids who actually got into individual stove backpacking equipment instantly in the last couple of years, because Scouts Canada made it so that you could actually take a group camping when they were in, it was return to scouting, I think they called it, stage 2, I think, maybe, or was it 3? One of the two. Anyway, one of those stages, actually I think it's 3, finally allowed overnighting again, but because of the spacing requirements and the no sharing food requirements and maximum number of people that you went with on a trip, etc., because spacing requirements during hiking and all that kind of stuff, then it was just a lot easier to introduce brand new scouts to single stove cooking for themselves and hammocking or single tent usage for themselves, like right off the bat. That was not something that they used to do a whole lot of till, say, year 2, yes. Year 2 in their scouting. So in cubs Cubs and beavers, the scouters still cook for them as a whole, and we serve it buffet style. But we focus a lot more on having the kids learn how to do it. Like there's duty rosters and stuff so that they have to help out. But when it comes to scout level, the kids do it on their own. And so it was a bit of a shock for kids who were in Cubs 1 year and then go to Scouts the very next year and suddenly have to figure out how to cook for themselves using stoves they've never seen before. It was not working out well. So we actually had a severe drop in the number of youth that actually participated in camps that year. That, and I mean, their parents are like, nope, you only are backpacking through Scouts. I'm not paying for all that gear. And groups up here typically do not rent equipment to their youth because, of course, there's all kinds of maintenance costs and stuff. So that's another reason why we don't have sleeping bags. And we often have them to loan if a kid forgot one or something happened and their sleeping bag got ruined. Like we had one year, a kid forgot to zip his tent closed, and while he was off doing an activity, a critter got in and decided to do his business on the sleeping bag. Well, of course, you don't want your kids sleeping in that, right? But I mean, if you're backpacking, you don't have any other alternatives. So during COVID, it didn't seem like a big deal that we couldn't be doing backups like that, but we just never, like, our group doesn't own equipment for that purpose. For that reason, like, they don't have to worry about maintenance and stuff. They own group stoves, but not singles and so on. So, in any case, it was a bit of a shocker for some of them coming from Cubs, straight into having to backpack stove cook for themselves. A couple of them tried just going with, like, uncooked foods it was only a weekend trip, all weekend, and they just sort of said, ew, I can't survive on snack foods alone. Oh, yeah, we could have told you that. Yeah, some of these established camps actually, it's funny, you go out places and in parts of British Columbia every once in a while you'll find established backpacking campgrounds where they actually have, you hike into the whole thing, they have these strange lockups for your food, either the fencing type or the flagpole variety, and then they'll actually even have graveled in tent pads. And you're like, but this is supposed to be rustic backcountry. Yeah, but you got a gravel tent pad just to guarantee that it's level. Different, for sure. Very, very different than what I grew up with in Girl Guides. To be honest, I don't know if it was because we were girls or something, but people didn't think we could do much of anything. So we didn't get to go on trips like this more than maybe once or twice. I went on a 3 or 4 day backpacking trip once, where like we hiked in, I think it was 10 kilometers. That's it. Sort of the backpackers' equivalent of glamping. Well, okay, no, that's not quite true. It's more that backpackers would have called it something wimpy, like pussy camping or something. I don't know. But in any case, working with scouting is a very different adventure for me, even though it's far nerfed compared to what many people are used to in, say, the United States or even in Canada. When you get the back in my day stories, yeah, rules have changed a lot, and we bubble wrap our kids, but that's actually part of where the whole sleeping bag thing had come in to wrap it around, was that cutoff temperatures for what you use or what you were allowed to keep out in at each various age level have changed since we were kids. So scouts are allowed to stay out like any time of year, pretty much. I mean, if it's minus 30, obviously we won't put them in tents, but if it's something like minus 10 overnight or minus 15, meh, bring the right gear, guys. You know, that's really what it comes down to. Whereas for our cubs, if it's going to be like minus 15 or something, then we're like, nope, sorry, no go, cancelled. So that's part of why you're ending up with multi-different sleeping bags. Besides, have you seen a kid under the age of even a teenager who's great at properly maintaining a down sleeping bag. I'm not good at it, and I know that my kids would be probably even worse, because I mean they're interest in putting things away or stretching things out or taking them out of the compression sacks is nil to even less. So anyway, suffice to say, I've got a bag for her for this weekend, and she specified she didn't really want a black bag, so I was trying to find one, even with it including black as an option. Still didn't, or we wouldn't have found one that worked for her. Funny because, I mean, I know there isn't everybody that winter camps per se, but I just never really assumed that companies were going to only offer bags for weather where they figured it would never snow. Yep. There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing and bad preparedness and forgetting your water bottle. So yeah, all that to say that some of the things that I would normally have had to hold off on financially, I'm lucky enough not to have to.
2, 4, 6, 8, everybody hydrate!
That sound needs a little bit of volume drop, I think. Thank you for the hydrate, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Just mark that as complete. Let's see, redeem alerts. Okay, let's take that down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's probably a good thing I don't stream super late, because if I did, I'd be scaring people out of bed. By the way, just on the sounds note, not the artificial sounds, but the in-game sounds, such as zombies and so on, I've turned them down to about 80% rather than, but I've thought about going a little lower. It's just that I get to the point where I don't hear them, particularly if I'm prattling on. So I turn those to 80, and so if they're still a little bit loud, my apologies. I know a lot of people like to play with them quite a bit lower. Just a heads up on that one. I don't need the tree. I'm just trying to get it out of the road so that I don't end up with wonderful things spawning beneath said tree as I go ahead with my work, because they tend to fall off and land on me and just give you a bit of a headache. It just occurred to me, I've only done it on this side to take the tree down, but I probably should have done it on the other areas as well. Oh well. It's one of those off-camera prep things now that I think about it. Too late. Just enough to... Oh. At least be enough that I'm not going to get a whole ton of zombies and whatnot climbing on. Alrighty, okay, so let's take down the floor. Like we did with the outside, so I'm going to start in this far corner. And that way we've got less chance of things dropping off the ledges over there while we're working. You know, Neon, from what I hear, that's actually a Slack thing. I mean, not that everybody falls asleep, but that we get used to the animation of his voice, such that he doesn't necessarily keep our attention, even though he's being perfectly well animated in his speech pattern. But yeah, that's a bit of a detail of Slack, and which is kind of funny because I had never heard some of his sounds before till earlier this week. Just some of them had just never happened to have been redeemed while I was there. So I was quite amused by some of the comments regarding like rednecks and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. And country bumpkin references and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I can hear it in his voice. It's kind of funny. But I'm sorry that you fell asleep in his stream though, because I mean, some of the things he does are pretty neat. haven't fallen asleep during his stream. I can't remember who we raided. I think I fell asleep during Choir's stream once. And I was well beyond Cheesy Mac by the time I got back online. I fell asleep during Jordan K Games after I'd stayed up to watch Carnage Joe. And so I don't know who on earth I was watching when I woke up. But what woke me up was this particular individual, which I think it must have been 3 or 4 raid levels later, at that point was actually jarringly F-bomb heavy. I use the odd one. And so I'm not, some sort of perfectly squeaky clean language person. I don't use them on stream. But yeah, this person, it felt like it was every second or third word. And that was what woke me up, and it's like, oh, well, being it's nearly 4 in the morning, I probably should go to bed. Yeah. I have to make myself go to bed right after Joe more often. I don't remember why I was still there. Oh, it was because I'd heard things about Jordan K Games that I wanted to see some of his stream. His stream. And that's what it was, is that I fell asleep during his and then they raided out. I think it's because I'm not super into Pokemon that I fell asleep, because he was opening a lot of Pokemon card packs that night. I don't know, got a new box or something. But yeah, like, raids are awesome. I totally love that streamers support each other by handing their crew off into someone else. So that it's not like, when you watch Netflix and sometimes your show just ends. Kind of going, oh, well, now what? Right? But on the other hand, I mean, we often fall into the trap then of dozing off during one of them and then waking up multiple hours later. And kind of like if you tried to watch a binge playlist, your favorite show, and next thing you know, you wake up and the entire playlist of your show that you were trying to watch is over, and you're now watching some random thing you never would have actually watched because it got picked based on what it thought you would like when you were done. Yeah. That actually frequently happens to me when I'm having a bath or something. I don't watch Netflix in the bath, but I do listen to Spotify streams in the bath. I heard a weird noise. Anyway. I did hear a weird noise. Where are you? Oh, I may get shoved off the building. Okay. So if my playlist ends and I forgot to put it on loop, then it will often continue to play longer based on things that I thought I liked, which has happened particularly with the family playlist. I've spoiled our family playlist by having the stream-friendly music that we use during streams here. Harris Heller is fantastic. I like his work, but there's a limit. And anyways, the thing is, it depends on our house who started the would you either show up or disappear? Take your pick. Anyway, but because of some of the musicals I listen to, there's the odd one that has like the rare F-bomb in it or something, and it's not a city or anything, it's, holy poop or whatever. Thanks, Irk. Probably is right, so when I go to pick up stuff from the floor, then I'll find him. But I have the odd musical that's got a song that's got like holy poop in it or something. Or actually, Come From Away is a fantastic example. Is they've got, in most versions, they've got a song right at the beginning where the RCMP officer starts out with talking about writing tickets. Like, the whole thing is clean otherwise, but he starts out writing tickets, and he gets to tell people to STFD, slow the blank down. And because of that word is the only one available in recordings that Spotify has available, and it qualifies under the explicit category, but it's like the title song of the musical. And there's one other one where there's one SH word dropped at the very end of the song. Very last word in the entire song. The music's over and everything else. And they dropped that. So because those two songs are rather key to the story, but they are important, or like they're explicit. So Spotify, if I turn off my explicit flag, Spotify doesn't want me to listen to that. So I turn that on just to be able to hear that sort of stuff. But then that means then that also opens up the family playlist to some of the things Fantastic Sherlock Box listens to that I don't normally like. For example, if he starts the playlist because he has his flag turned on, allows him, then every once in a while we'll get stuff like the more cuss-heavy years from Eminem and things of that nature. And that's great, except at the dinner table. You know? Like, our kids are not strangers to the language. It's just they're not needing to hear that. So, anyway. You can't win them all, but when Spotify does that, I've had other ones too, so because I've left the flag on, it starts out there, and then and at least I recognize those artists, but then if I let them go on further, it goes different. Yeah, I have different playlists than other people. It's just that, one of the things is we generally like the family playlist for traveling in the car, or sometimes over dinner, because that's when we've got everybody sitting down who would be listening to Spotify, and rather than trying to agree or disagree on what we listen to, we just pick the family list because then everybody has contributed to it. However, if my streaming goes on, another couple months or whatever, then it might actually become worth it for me to spend the bucks to get one more Spotify account, and then that way I can actually use a different one for the rather growing list of stream safe music. Either that, or another thing that's probably cheaper is for me to keep looking at what services are available. What services are available that have some more stream-free music that I like. There's two Stream Beats type of companies. One is run by Harris Heller, which is, I think it's Stream Beats, like STREAM, so spelled correctly. And then the other one is, I'm just gonna get to the bed here before I pull that up. So one is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. There's another one called Stream Tunes, STREEM Tunes, so all one word though. And they have some pretty good playlists as well. The kicker with both of them come through Spotify, so I can use it simply there. And it could even be a matter of like using some of these sorts of companies through a different player. That's another possibility. But the reason I was looking at Stream Tunes, another free one, is that music there, while supposedly being DMCA safe or copyright claim safe, I guess probably more accurate, the music there also, every time you play it, it supports a Canadian music charity. So, particularly given COVID, some of these artists who've had their concerts canceled and whatnot have not been able to recoup their costs. So they're having problems making ends meet and so on. And so I thought, okay, well, that'd be great. It's because a lot of the times when you hear about these sorts of things, they support charities that people in my country don't benefit from. It doesn't make them bad charities, it's just that's the reality of the way these things work because of laws and so on. Anyway, so when I had that opportunity, I thought, okay, well, that sounds great. I'd love to support the Canadians. Unfortunately, what transpired was that the stream service has a system where you're supposed to put your YouTube channel in. Enlist your YouTube channel in their system so that it's a whitelist. And I did that, but for some reason it just doesn't want to stick. I keep getting temporary copyright freezes on the work. And eventually it gets released and goes away after I go and put my name in. But I shouldn't have to do that for absolutely every single time that I go to upload like an archive to YouTube, or that I have like a complaint list, because I mean, if you're playing an entire stream, you're going to get a complaint email from YouTube about your copyright notice or copyright infringement for every single song used in that stream. So of course the length of a 2-hour stream is a good number of songs. So I thought, okay, well, you know, let's look at this service. Is there a way that it supports, or that it could support Canadians if I paid for it? Nope. One of the things they wanted to do as part of their mission was to remain free. So, oh well. I've had to stop using them, but in either case, by not having it as a separate user on Spotify, it's spoiling my own playlist recommendations. So yeah. Yeah, I'm a little scared of using Apple Music for the purposes that I'm talking about, just because it's Apple Music. I mean, it's the behemoth there, so, you know, can't win them all. So it's just another one of those things. If I actually had put up, like, if I put up at my base or something, a long list of the to-dos in Minecraft and to do with the stream, I probably could cover one of the interior walls of the library. It's just, and that's not even one item per list. That's trying to put in, let's say, one item per row of what the sign will take. So, as you can see, what that basically summarizes to, rather than continue to go on, because this isn't meant to be a rants channel. But what that basically summarizes to is that I still have an awful lot to learn. I did a quick Google search this morning, looking at just to see what came up for top alternatives to using Stream Elements. So where do people go? What do people use? Whether or not it's free, I haven't even looked at. I didn't even use that term. I had expected something like Own 3D or whatever to come up. But I kid you not, every single hit on the first 10 pages from Google all talked about how to use Stream Elements. I even looked at create your own overlays, and every single one of those links in the summary piece talked about, and then here's how you import them into Stream Elements. I'm like, okay, obviously my Google foo is broken, and I need to find a different search term. But it was, I think I got an idea how to do it, but obviously the professional streamers have fallen into the Stream Elements trap, or at least enough of them have, that the majority of people are using that service. And as we saw, for people who also watch Huge Stormy Owl, the service goes down, you got a problem. And that's not just your widgets or just the pictures you use to overlay things. So it's a good service. I'm not arguing that Stream Elements is a great service and it's easy and it's free and whatever, but it's insidious. And I don't like the idea that if something went wrong and we couldn't get to their servers, that I would end up with basically a nothing stream with no coverage. But yeah, there's probably ways that I could deal with the music one, and it's also on my list to try and... Well, next up is probably emotes, because rather than trying to replace things that are working, I need to try and fill in things that are absent. So, non-default emotes is the next one up. I also want to figure out how to try and fix my stream sticker, the hype one, it's free. I want to try and fix it because I like it to be trimmed out, so that it's a little bit closer to the shape. And I'm not sure how to do that with the stream stickers, because the picture I had uploaded in the first place was a transparent background PNG. And so that should have done the trick, but it didn't, so yeah. Because subs and such floor me every single time they happen. And I'll be frank, they kind of make me feel uncomfortable. But yet, at the moment, I haven't done 60 hours of streaming or 60 days of streaming since I became affiliate. So I can't do follower subs yet. That's follower emotes. And even if I could, I don't have the graphics to do it. So there are plenty of places to pick up, either for purchase or, you bend over backwards and do six turns around and say Bob's your uncle 20 times or something, and then you can give away your life and your email address and your, I don't know, third knuckle or something to get some freebies. But it's just one of those put time in things. And And I'm enjoying playing, so I'll be honest, I would rather keep playing than stop to work on some of the tech lately. There are ways to do things without, and I mean, I can get it done, just gotta spend the time to do it. So, too many ideas burning all at once. Too many thoughts. Dang this game! It shouldn't be so enjoyably addictive. On the other hand, I mean, different people have said it's digital Lego for the masses. And yeah, they're right. I mean, if I was to spend, I think we spent $70 Canadian-ish on the 2 versions of the game. Then, yeah. If I was to spend that much on Lego sets, while I would get specific IP or Lego specific pieces or something like that, I don't think I'd get nearly as much fun out of the Lego, even if I was to take it apart and rebuild, as I do playing in Minecraft. Granted, there's the perk that, you know, you don't get a zombie coming up to try and eat your brains or something while you're playing your Lego. Well, I'll give them that. Actually, even with, you know, the new... I think there's a new Lego video game out. It's the Star Wars Skywalker Saga. And I know Peregrine picked up a copy of it recently, so I've yet to sit down and ask him what he thinks of it. But my husband sent me an email today reminding me that it was released. I'm thinking, oh, it won't be too long till, well, either I'm looking at it or my kids are playing it. Most commonly the kids play it, but it won't be all that long till that happens. Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't. Sorry, I wasn't trying to ignore you, Zerk. No. I don't. We talked about preparedness. That was one of those other things I used to carry all the time. And now it's part of the kit list if I'm going caving, but it doesn't make it to the regular project list. Although, the way I'm doing this is actually kind of stupid because I know the carpet will pop when I cut out the wood. So, I probably should just give up on chopping it here. Like, this is just dumb. We're back to stone shovels again, right? Okay. Because of course there's no string underneath it to hold it up afterwards or anything else. Most of the time I do neon, yes. It depends how quick access I need things to be. So stuff like the golden helmet that would need to keep piglins off my tail, that sits loose in the ender chest. Something I might need to grab super quickly. I think things like more torches, I'll often have that handy there, or another stack of food or something along those lines. But most of the time I use that. And then the facepalm moment today was I often also have in my ender chest a box of goodies. For things like, you know, gold ingots, or could have been a stack of iron, or if I actually had diamonds, those sorts of goodies usually live in a conveniently colored golden goodies box. I have an emergency box in there, which is colored red. I don't think I labeled it this time because I don't think I had enough levels at the time, but anyway. And that's the one that'll carry, like, stuff you don't use all the time, but you would need in an emergency, like spare armor or new weapons, new bow, that kind of jazz. So those live in there, but they don't live loose in the ender chest. It's actually funny because one of the things I should keep in there, and I don't, is the makings of a spare ender chest. I know it sounds like a weird thing to keep in there. You know, people do keep obsidian sometimes. I think I might have some of that in my valuable goodies chest, but I should probably keep the rest of the makings of... I think I have ender pearls in there as well, because they, at the time, qualified as valuable goodies. whether just with the number of mistakes I make when I'm doing projects like taking this one down, or if I'm strip mining an area that doesn't have any ore in it whatsoever, then of course I'm not gonna waste a silk touch pick. I've got easy obtainable ones from my villagers that don't have enchantments on them, so therefore are cheaper. But then of course I go and mine the ender chest, don't think about it, like I did on the mansion weekend, and go, oopsie daisy, yeah, now I have no ender chest on me. So if stuff goes foul and I have to get out of there, I don't have the option of dumping things in and running away, or I have to carry the whatever it was that was out there, so the thing that was valuable for me to pick up that I was out there with in the first place. I can't just tuck it away in the ender chest and go, okay, well, if something happens to me, stuff I came out here for is safe. Yeah, I lose all those opportunities. So I put shulkers in the ender chest, and when we started this episode, or this stream, I was looking at my chest going, why don't I have... I had more... At one time, owned more shulkers than I had need for, so I actually had some of them in a barrel. I forgot that since I made that decision, I'd actually put full ones in regular chests, and sort of did the, yeah, well, I'll empty it later, because sometimes if you're going on a project, you just want a whole chest full of whatever log you're going to build with as is. Right? It's useful that way. And so I'm looking at it this morning going, why don't I have enough ender chests? Not ender chests, sorry. Again, enough shulkers. And, well, first I'm not going to have enough shulkers. I've got them full stored elsewhere. So I might have to make a trip to the shulker farm. Which is funny because on Bedrock last season, I did it the other way around and actually had walls full of chests of still less material than everybody else, but rows upon rows of stacks of things in my storage part of my fire hall. And so this entire season survived on, I think I had 6 shulkers. Just about every time somebody loaned me one, said, you can keep that. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I actually I think I might have bought one. But I think everything else was, like, gifted when I traded for the supplies that were contained in it. But then sometimes I was actually able to get away with returning them to the person. Not that I didn't want them, but that they could use them just as well as me. But yeah. A lot of my pinch situations are usually during a project. So, like, I have one chest that in my base, it's like a project staging area, and that's where I put materials that I'm going to be using in project, and then load shulkers from there. But it helps me take a quick look when I open the chest to see if I've got enough stacks of whatever it is. Whereas if I have to pull it out and look at a shulker stuff, just the way I organize things, I wouldn't necessarily see if I had all the parts. So, for example, like when I did my bee farm, I had put all my stacks in a row of the different things I was going to need, and then didn't realize what was it. I can't remember what I built out of it, but I turned all my sand into glass, or something like that. And then, oh, I know what it was. I was already starting to prepare for the statues, so I had turned all the sand that was supposed to be glass for the bee farm into stone for the statues. Still a mistake to make, anyways. But I'm staring at this shulker box set. I did sort of as you suggested because I'd had redstone in one of them, and like all the redstone parts lived in one, etc. And just didn't get the big picture part of it. So I decided instead, in future projects, I'm going to have project boxes, and then I can just build them as I go. Yeah. Everybody does things differently, and I actually like hearing how you store things, or how other people store things, and how other people carry things with them. It helps a lot, because something may suddenly jump out and appeal, or I can try each one of them in turn. There you are. I can try each one of those styles in turn, and something might click that hasn't in the past. But if I don't ask, then, or it never comes up, I don't know, and maybe I'm missing out on a way that might really work for my style. Last season, because I had fewer shulker boxes, I actually had a lot more in sort of the quick grab rows in my ender chest. So often that would be some of the product materials that I knew I was going to use, but I didn't need a whole shulker box full of or something like that. Just anything, keep them out of my hands and out of my inventory. Oh lordy. Okay, I didn't know that was there. Yeah, totally. Could totally see how that would help. Well, I mean, that's part of where I have a goodies box. Was not, you know, avoiding thievery, it was that then things like that wouldn't take up tons and tons of space when I didn't need them all the time. But as you saw today, I forgot to pick up my goodies box. I think what might be a smarter move for me would be... Seriously? Might be a smarter move for me would be to potentially have a goodies box, not goodies box, an ender chest in inside my trading hall, and then that way I'd be more likely to put things away very quickly. But I can say that now, and then if I go to try it, it may actually not be that system for the way I work. Oh, nope. One more down. Is that it? Yes. I'll take those down as part of the wall. There's no point in me worrying about it now. It's funny, I never got into the mini blocks. I don't know, like, I mean, I've used them a little bit, but all the ones that I used, or that were used in my areas last year, were I think just the door in the nether hallway. I can't recall anything else. And that was because I was in a bit of a snit last season. Wanting to feel tiny, or not wanting to, feeling tiny and wanting to disappear, and so the mini blocks allowing me to create an invisible-ish door into my hallway in the nether without a signage on the outside and stuff. That was just me being having a petty moment. I go through a lot of those, and I acknowledge that, but I didn't need to be quite so silly. Anyway, I never, like, I think mini blocks are useful for a lot of things, but I never really got into them, I guess. They're cool for decoration, I suppose. Particularly when they start counting towards entities on the server, then it makes you kind of wonder, like, I mean, you can do neat decorative stuff with them. I like the coffee mugs concept with inverted heads and things like that. Oops. Whether or not some of this stuff despawns, I'm not super concerned about. I mean, it'd be nice to get materials, but as you can see, I haven't gone down to pick up a lot of this stuff. Part of it is because I have an easy generator for this stuff at home. But the other thing, actually, I find funny is just-in-time creation backfires when the project you're working on actually needs more of a shulker monster. So there will be tree chopping episodes, just kidding. There will be some tree chopping at some point in the stream. Not here, or not today, I mean as in for projects down the way. Because woodland mansions only have certain kinds of wood in them. And I do like to work a fair bit with spruce. Not one that is part of the woodland mansion setup. And then I'm curious to do more with Junglewood because I kind of like its sort of pinkish tint. I still think Acacia has its purpose, but it is being a little oranged out. So that's at my base, and I see it all the time. I don't really think I'm going to want to build anything more with it, unless it's intended to match the stuff that's in the base already. Here. Zerk, I think you were oranged out the day you were born, man. I was kind of amused, though, when Big Clyde's way of announcing his unfortunate accident requiring a cast was to tell us about asking for an orange one because he thought it would bug you. That was cute. But I actually never thought that there'd be like fiberglass cover layers for casts that'd be quite so shockingly orange. It was really, really bright. So, there shall at some point soon, hopefully, be new art available for the Dadcraft servers stream weekend. We finally had Peregrine. I think he said he wanted to do the art for this time round, and they're going to go with one of the Nether tunnels from the Bedrock server. Glad to see it because the usual suspects for art. Every month, a different person who has done the art the previous month has been busy. So it's always good to see a different style of the art, even if it ends up being same people, or sorry, different people doing the same style as has been done in the past. It's still refreshing to have that handed off every once in a while, just because it frees up schedules for those that are working on other things. That doesn't make a lot of sense in English, but... so Peregrine's offered to do it this time, and I still have yet to pick my slots, so I really should speed up on that, or it's going to hinder his artwork. I'm thinking since I've got an event on the Friday night, so that would mean I might need to stick with a Saturday later slot, or potentially go even later still. I doubt it, but I'll probably stick with my usual one, which is probably about, what, 7? I think I had the 7 p.m. Eastern slot last time. So I'm looking at that, and then I had originally thought that I might need to actually completely move slot because I wouldn't get home in time. That's the one on Saturday that might have to switch or get dropped. It was kind of funny because we've in the last few months had a little bit of trouble actually successfully getting people to be able to do. They say, oh, I'd love to do X or Y. I really want this time slot. And then life just gets them. They can't do it. So, everybody's flexible for everybody else, and it works really well. But it does mean that it can make the scheduling process a little bit more complicated. I really hope you don't neon, only because I really do think that a bright orange skin would just outright be ugly regardless of the reasoning behind it. I've seen a few people who have Halloween-themed skins, and well, they're okay during the season. I don't really know if anybody, walking around like a dilapidated pumpkin shape really needs to be doing it. But that's just a personal taste thing. I mean, I suspect if we all picked one of, say, just for argument purposes, one of Zerk's other favorite colors, like pink or, sorry, like purple or green or whatever, and went hog wild on that one, I mean, he'd get sick of that too, so. And it's funny because, not his dislike of orange, but it's interesting because I was actually trying to think about the other day, and were there any other colors that are also described as either like a flavor or a scent or something? Scents I could see. things don't usually, they don't smell red. They don't smell yellow. They don't even smell orange. I mean, they can smell citrusy, but that's not the same thing. Yeah, that was kind of a curious difference. Because I couldn't think of any other... Oh, how convenient. I couldn't think of any other color that behaved in that manner. Oops. More than this room. Not behaved in that manner, sorry. Was treated in that manner in English or any of the other languages I'm aware of. The colors in. My language skills are a little on the lacking side. Okay. I mean, it's same example, different color. I know people that had grown up knowing, sounds strange enough, but grown up knowing grape juice, they just called it purple juice. So they drank purple juice. Things tasted like purple juice. But I don't suppose, for many of them, that things smelled purple. They don't smell grape in that sense. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've never really asked that person. Good time. Time. Yeah. Neon was finally here first. I find that cute. 10 minutes before the end of stream. I haven't looked this morning. Is CJ still my
2,
biggest
4,
fan?
6, 8. Everybody hydrate.
Ooh, is that better volume or is that still quite loud? And thank you for the hydrate. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Okay. Redeem sounds are now at just above half, so hopefully that would help. But if it turns out making the other ones too quiet, then I shall have to go after that particular sound. Definitely needed my coffee this morning. Funny, I was thinking the other day, I drink too much coffee, I really should cut back. And see if there's something else I can do in the morning, or have only one cup or something like that, because I really only go through 2 12-ounce mugs a day. Which, of course, for everybody who prefers their 8-ounce measurement of a mug of coffee, that's 3 cups a day. But the problem with even that, not the problem with cutting back, but the problem with having that much, is that I don't usually drink enough other fluids, generally. So eventually, you know how people say you exude garlic? Or if you eat asparagus, it does something funky to your system? Yeah, think of that sort of situation, pardon me, except with coffee. So I'm getting, it's probably, excuse me, I'm gonna have to rehydrate. Okay, sorry about that. But the problem with that, of course, is you start to smell like coffee, or at least I get the impression I do. And so I thought, okay, well, I should cut back, because that's horrible. I should drink more water, etc. It doesn't help that when I was looking for good news stories this morning, one of the ones that pop up is some science. I think they were at Berkeley, and they did a study they published in a journal that says one cup of coffee per day is supposed to be good for your heart and help reduce problems with heart disease. And it's like, well, gee, now I don't really want to cut back on the coffee, and I have a potential scientific excuse not to. But yeah, no, really, I probably should just be wiser about drinking more fluids generally. Particularly since I'm prone to headaches and stuff, which some of them are probably dehydration related. So yeah. There's other days like this morning where I was really, really happy for my coffee. Because it was definitely dragging. On here, I'm just gonna do a quick look. Let's see. Oh, CJ Bot is still the biggest fan. Considering the amount he's here, it's actually quite surprising he's still the biggest fan. I was picturing how quickly and how amusing it would be to watch the sheer numbers of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of points would be spent if, just as a lark, if, like DC had a biggest fan. Ah! How's that sound for you, Neon? Is that one loud enough you noticed? I'm starting to think maybe I should move just the hydrate one down. So to stretch it out, a little low, okay. Yeah, that's part of what happens when you use a 1990s commercial. Okay. Easy enough. But I will do the stretch. You won't see the stretch on camera, guys. I have not paid for hand tracking, and that would actually take an external device with the software I've got, so hands over the head. Stretch, crack, crack, crack. Heavy. Very put it all the way down my back, which is quite nice. Here, I might as well grab another freebie hydrate. Because I can. Currently, the boo-boo. Most of the sounds I play are set at 80% of their full volume. Underneath the setting for this, or the grand collection of how many they are. Except for hydrate was still at 100%. I think that had to do with an oops when I was resetting it after the file path issues. Case in point. Let's try this one.
2, 4, 6, 8. Everybody hydrate.
Nope, that one's going to be like 40% or something. Okay. Are these done off the roof? When I'm inside one of these, actually taking out the people, the critters populating the place, I didn't realize that there was both oak and birch in the ceiling, because with this texture pack, from underneath they look just about the same. That'd be kind of funny because I was looking over my shoulder randomly going, oh, matches the wood of my desk, and then I realized, no, actually it doesn't, because I think the trestles the desk are on pretty cheap pine, and then, or well, inexpensive pine because it's IKEA, and then the tabletop itself is glass, so definitely not looking the same. So standing at the top of the stairs might be a good opportunity for me to get down and do a quick pickup. So, I will probably, over time, for anyone who's on the same server, or coffee server, I will probably over time be still tearing this place down. But I think I'm only going to spend this 1 week of time on the stream doing it. So, by next week, when I'm doing things, they'll actually be back to doing something else a little different, probably laying out the starts of the bookshop. Just partly because I can, and partly because I'm itching to do something else. I enjoy this, but I also have plenty of the dark oak that I actually wanted for the bookshop now from here, so that means that I've got the opportunity to go ahead with setup in the layout and start getting work done on that. That's the plans for next week. Yeah. And I'll have hopefully some time to mull over it this weekend, because one of the things our cubs are repeatedly asking for is more free time just to hang out. And I think it's because the majority of them, unlike years past, the majority of them are not from same schools or the same other extracurricular activities as their friends. So they're spending time just being friends at camp, and they actually want more of that opportunity. So that should hopefully give me a little bit more time to mull over some of the things I've been mulling over. And if I spend the time then, maybe my brain won't be so scatterbrained come Monday. No, we'll see. We'll see. To figure out by priority which project I want to work on. Stream related when I get back, whether it's going to be the art for the panel thing, because that's a bit more set and forget, or whether it's the whether it's something else to do with sounds or overlays or whatever else. I might even hop on and just keep on going at this because I'm enjoying it. Like, I never decide. Never ever decide. Okay. Just for the benefit of my moderators, or but anyone else who's listening, it's, I guess in the end it's going to help you out too, is probably even higher priority than a lot of that other stuff I just mentioned, is I'm going to walk through some of the more common commands used by Stream Elements and Nightbot that I don't already have implemented in a moderator usable format, and just put them in. Because I can do something myself a different way, doesn't mean that I don't have benefit from also having the command version of being able to do it by moderator. So, things like the raid will be coming back. I was doing it a different way, and I can probably handle doing that in the new bot. I just need to set it up and get going. Yeah, and then I can put in the background. I've got lots and lots of stuff. The to watch stream, or to watch list on watch later on YouTube is growing and growing exponentially. Part of it is a lot of people are covering the same material, but some of them are covering it in a different way than others. And we'll throw in a tidbit that isn't in somebody else's stream, so you make your way through 15, 20 minutes worth of somebody's stream, and then you learn what you're going to learn from that one, and then you head over to someone else who seems to be covering the same material, and you're going, ugh, but I was looking for that one little bit of difference that you advertised on the cover, and you didn't put in chapters. And not everybody needs to. It's not a required feature. It's just sometimes the patience there on my part is lacking. So the list just grows because I know I don't really want to sit through that, and that's my fault, I guess you could say. But when I'm doing a project like tearing this place down, and when it's off camera, I could just put those on as a grand playlist, start and stop them as necessary to take notes, and then just keep going with the thing. Why did I change direction? I do not know. So we've hit the top of the hour. You can see that I have zero inclination to stop, but I think that you guys probably would enjoy being returned to your regularly scheduled programs and or seeing who else is live. So I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes, then do a quick live check and see who's up at the moment. I'm going to bet, before I even look, that we've probably got, I think it's a Bruno day. I don't know if there's anybody else at the moment, but so that's a possibility. Oh, actually looks like Foxy and Groova are also on, so give a quick thought to that one while I do one more row. It's like the people one more thing themselves to death. I'm gonna do one more row and then just see again if anybody else has popped on, and then we'll probably pick those. Actually, Bruno looks like he's in the triple digits of viewers, which tends to get people from our channel wired, and then he says hello, and then just due to the sheer size of his group, becomes I don't know, just another number. So I'm thinking, even getting ignored by Foxy and Groova, they're not ones I usually raid, so I might actually give them a go for a bit of change, I guess. A bit of a change of scene. So if anyone here has a preference for which one, you let me know. Otherwise, I'll be just spinning the finger around and hitting go on one of the buttons. The Magic Cheaty button I've been using, Foxy it is. Magic Cheaty button I've been using is on my Stream Deck via Bar Raider. For anyone who's using that setup, I've got one that shows, it tracks who's live as sort of a second screen of stuff, and then if you just press and hold, like long hold on that button, it initiates the raid and initiates the host and all that stuff for you. So that's part of why I haven't had a raid command, because it's super easy for me to just hit that button, and I got it triggered into my streamer bot so that when that happens and the raid successfully fires off, then it actually will also go ahead and hit the stop streaming button for me and clean up my chat and shut down all the timered commands, so that if I had any troubleshooting to do or whatever, I'm not getting harassed by the remainder of the outflow of what was sitting in the queue for timed commands. Because I found out that could be as much as 45 minutes worth of free time stuff that was just waiting to fire off. So, yeah. Anyway, let's turn it around. So I will be back on Tuesday for sure. On Tuesday will be another Minecraft day for sure. And the other for sure piece is that we will be doing some work heading out towards the shopping district and picking ourselves a spot to start putting in the bookshop. While frontage as a location is probably a good place to think about to start, unfortunately I have to figure out where the back of the store will start first. Just due to the nature of the way I wanted to build the shop, it needs to be built sort of backwards. It also allows it to be viable sooner, even while I'm still completing the build itself. So that's our plan for next week. If anyone has any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can see that my socials are just about everywhere to be found. So feel free to tag me any way that you like, and whether it's a positive suggestion or whether it be something critical you didn't like or somewhere in between, please do send feedback if you've got the time. And I will wish you a great week. So we are off to Foxy. Wish him well, and have yourselves a great day.